Our final example today will be finding the secant of 3 pi over 2. So the first thing we want to do, remember, is figure out where is 3 pi over 2 on the graph. And this example will be a little bit different than the ones we've done so far because 3 pi over 2, remember that's 1.5 pi. So there's 1 and half of another one. That puts us right on the negative y-axis there. So this will be a different example than some of the others that we've done. So we know where 3 pi over 2 is. Step 2 is normally to draw our special triangles. But because it's right on that axis line, there's no triangle that I can draw. So we just have to think through this one. So let's think about what we know about the secant first. I like to use what I call the buddy functions for the secant. So remember that the buddy of the secant is the cosine. So the first thing that I am going to think about is what is the cosine of 3 pi over 2. Okay? Remember that cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So let's think about what we have in this case. I have the hypotenuse, right? If it's laying right on the unit circle, that's a 1. So my hypotenuse is my 1 there. And if it helps you, think about your unit circle looking like this. So my hypotenuse is that 1 unit on the unit circle. What is my adjacent? Well, does the triangle come out any to the left or to the right at all? It doesn't. So I don't have an adjacent. My adjacent distance is 0. Okay? So if the cosine is 0 over 1, the secant is buddies with the cosine, so the secant is the reciprocal or the flip of that cosine. So we would say that the secant of 3 pi over 2 would be the reciprocal of this, or 1 over 0. Now I hope that there are little math alarm bells going off in your head right now, because are we ever allowed to have 0 in the bottom of a fraction? We are not. So we say that this is undefined. So the secant of 3 pi over 2 is undefined.